Greetings and welcome to another video by Sir Mike the Hedge Knight. We have a new character introduced to the game. It is Qyburn's creation, Gregor Clegane, known by fans of the franchise as the Mountain. So let's start with a couple of things. You'll see that the screen that I'm on is what they call the Focus Summon, which is a summon for gold coins only, which we have seen historically whenever new characters have been introduced into the game. If you watched my video for the new Circe a couple of weeks ago, you will recall that when new Circe was first introduced to the game, for the first couple of hours, the focus summon was not there. And on the official Discord, the mods said, hey guys, by the way, focus summons are gone. And there was a revolution. There was an uproar because myself and many other people had been hoarding gold with the understanding that at some point, maybe not for this character, the next character, you find the character you like and you dump a bunch of gold and you can start to build that character up. Because let's face it, they make these rate up summons, and there's one for Gregor Clegane and there's one for Circe, and they're both available right now. And they're pretty good. At least the two that are there now, they're all like kind of Lannisters or work with the Lannisters. So at least everyone in the summon is sort of working towards some synergy, as opposed to some of those hodgepodge ones that they had historically. So that's all fine and good, but if you have 8 legendaries in the summon, just because the Mountain is twice as common as like Meryn Trant and Jaime Lannister, like you're not going to, what do you have, 1,000 green tokens? You're not going to get this new character to a usable level anytime soon. So you really need these focus summons. The game has been out for, well over a year at this point. If you're a brand new character, you don't need it. As 2 and 3 star characters are still helpful for you, but then you didn't have 21,000 gold to begin with. So, so you kind of need this as you're introducing, especially with the new faction that came out, the Blacks faction, and even for any new characters. If Zynga's idea is get rid of the focus summons and make people spend cash on them or 1,000 green tokens, just hoping the RNG is good enough, you'll get enough of them. Yeah, some people probably will. Most people probably will not. So that being said, there was a big question after Circe: will the focus summons return after Circe? And I've been a little busy recently, so I haven't stayed up on the official Discord. I think they said it would, at least for the Mountain. I think they did say that before it released in the app. I'm not sure. But here it is. Here it is. The next question is, will it be there going forward? Well, they just released today on Halloween. They just released the November event calendar. And there'll be another new character, a member of the Blacks faction, in a couple of weeks, called the Prince Consort. And in the November calendar, at least for that summon in a couple of weeks, they indicated that there will be a focus summon. So that is good news. Now, will this be indefinite? Will they stick with every time a new character comes out, there'll be a focus summon? Because they did have some thought of getting rid of these focus summons. So at some point, it may go away. That being said, it's here now. Let's dive into Gregor Clegane. The first thing that we see is he is green, and this is a big deal. When they tweaked the defense stat a few weeks ago, and they made defense more important, what we have seen in Raid is a return of the Starks. And what do you see when you see the Starks? Ned Stark. Yeah, they made defense more important. They wanted to make tanks tankier, and they did. And there's a lot of big blue protectors and big blue tanks in the game. Ned Stark being the first one that will come to most people's minds. King of the North, Jon Snow. He doesn't have taunt, but he's on a lot of Stark teams because of his ice. He is a blue protector, high defense. Samwell Tarly, not even a protector, but a lot of hit points and gives everyone shields. So he's a little tough to take down. He's a big blue. Grey Worm for the Targaryens, a couple of HP guards, protector, passive fire. There's a lot of big blue defensive characters in the game. So whenever I see a green offensive character, and any green character works, but a lot of the green characters that I see very often are Marjorie Tyrell, Mender, Catelyn Stark, also a healer, Sansa Stark, support character with buffs. Now, there are green offense. There's Ygritte, and there's Jaime Lannister, who's also a member of the Lannister. So there's green offensive characters out there, but it seems like they're few and far between, and overall, probably not the most common or the most powerful characters in the game. So here's a new character who is a green fighter. Right off the bat, I'm thinking, okay, as a fighter, attack will be more than defense. Now you see here from the stats, it is, but it's pretty close. He's pretty balanced. So, and these are good numbers, both over 45K, 116,000 hit points for a non-protector. So he is a fighter that is not going to be too squishy. He's going to deal out damage, and he's not going to be too squishy, and he's green. So right off the bat, I'm thinking if I like his skill set, this is a good character to have. Maybe, in Alliance War, going against a bunch of those Stark teams or a bunch of those big, bad blue protectors, here's someone that might be able to cut right through him. He has a slow speed skill that does 300% attack physical damage, so it's attack damage. Now his stats are balanced, but still attack is better than defense, so that's good, to all enemies. And I had to read through this like several times, because usually when you see these big, gaudy numbers, 300, 350, 275, those are usually single target attack numbers. When you see an AoE, which is area of effect, you're going to see, 100, 125 is pretty good, 75. I think Beric is 90. I think eventually he gets up to 100. Because in Raid, if you're going against 5 opponents, if you have 100% attack damage, attack physical damage, let's say, or any type of damage, and it's an area of effect attack, and you're hitting 5 opponents in Raid, that's like a 500% attack. That's quintuple the damage. So you don't normally see, perhaps I'm wrong, maybe there's one out there that I'm not aware of, 300% attack physical damage AoE is tremendous. In addition, a 50% chance to wound for 3 turns. So he's hitting everyone and has a chance to wound them, so that'll stop the renew, it'll stop, heals, things of that nature. The Lannisters, now I mentioned in my Cersei video again, I think the Lannisters are a little bit of a subpar faction. They're getting some love here, which is good. They're trying to make them a little more synergistic. But other than like the fake synergy of coin, like just that they all use coins, that's not synergy. Synergy is one character does something and then a second character can feed off of it. If I use coins and Jaime, if Gregor uses coins and Jaime Lannister uses coins and Cersei uses coins, that's not really synergy. You still have to have coin. They're all dipping into the same pool. So I talked about that in my last video. However, one of the other things, kind of a theme of the Lannister faction, is they do a lot of wound and a lot of deceive, and if I'm not mistaken, I think some stun as well. And they have characters that will trigger when enemies are wounded or deceived or stunned, and we're going to see that in just a moment. His leadership skill, well, when an enemy is wounded, we just saw when he attacks and he hits all enemies, he has a 50% chance of wounding them. So when he uses his skill, he's probably going to trigger his leadership ability, as he will when any of his allies wound enemies. He will gain counter. Now, they don't see how much the counter is. I guess it's just a basic attack, which I guess that's 100% attack physical damage, I guess. Gregor gains counter for 3 turns and adds 2 coins to the treasury. Now, I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. The Lannisters, the way of getting coins, some of them will have abilities that spawn coin gems, and some of them add coins directly to the treasury. Between the two, I said it before, I'll say it again, adding coins to the treasury is much, much, much better. I don't have to waste time spending a turn going to match gems, going to get coins. What if the coins are in a place I can't reach? What if I can't get enough of them? What if by the time I get the coins, my Gregor Clegane is defeated? Adding coins to the treasury is great. I think he starts at 1 coin, and I think at a certain star level, 4 or perhaps 5, I think it goes up to 2. So really like that coins are being added directly to the treasury, and he gets counter. Really like the leadership ability. But what I like even more is the passive. So upon defeat, for a cost of 6, it starts at 7, and it doesn't go down to 6, I think, until 6 stars. So that's asking a bit. Gregor loses his helmet. So graphically, he will look different. He loses his helmet and is instantly revived to 80% hit points with an indefinite 10% power buff. I think of revive, someone like a Beric. Beric at low level comes back, 30, 35% hit points. His attack goes down to 75% of what it was. So he comes back very weak. This guy comes back at 80% of his maximum hit points and gets stronger. Power will amplify the amount of damage his skill does. So instead of a 300% AoE attack, it's 330%. Now, the question here is, it says he loses his helmet. And I've seen this in the Proving Grounds. We'll talk about the Proving Grounds in a bit, and then we will wrap this up. But once he's lost his helmet, what happens when he's defeated a second time? If you have 6 coins in the treasury, does he come back? And I will tell you that in the Proving Grounds, for me, he did. Is this okay? Is this a glitch that they will fix? Or did they put the words in here, Gregor loses his helmet, just to be kind of like some cool, hey, look, now I look different, I've got a hideous face. Is it just that, or was the intent that you only lose your helmet once, so I can only be revived once? That, don't know for certain. All I can say is that in the Proving Grounds, I had a battle that I lost. He was defeated. I had, I don't know, 10, 12, 13 coins in the treasury. He came back, got defeated again, still had enough coins in the treasury, came back a second time. So hopefully that is by design and is not going to be adjusted anytime soon. So in theory, if you have like 100 coins in the treasury, you just can't lose a fight. He can come back 16 times. So you'll win the fight by gem damage alone. At some point, Gregor will wear you down. So obviously 100 coins, a little bit far-fetched. So the Proving Grounds, I've completed the Proving Grounds, so I cannot show them to you. If you haven't completed them yet, open up your app. I think they're still there for a few more days. One of the reasons I started hoarding gold way, way, way back wasn't for a particular character, but I was introduced to this concept of the Proving Grounds. And every time a Proving Grounds is rolled around, they're fairly uncommon, but every time they've rolled around, there are 10 levels. Every 2 levels, you get a reward. The first 6 levels, you don't even need to have the character on your roster. They give them to you, just to kind of show you how the character works and what their mechanics are, to kind of generate interest. The reward for the 6th level is 15 shards. So now you have him on your roster. You can unlock him, level him up to 50. He's 1 star. To progress through levels 7, 8, 9, and 10, you have to have the character on your roster at 1, 2, 3, and 4 stars, respectively. So they give you 15 shards. You can get through level 7. No reward. You need him at 2 star to get through level 8. Level 8 gives you 10 green tokens. Not bad. No one's going to say no to 10 free green tokens. But you need them at 4 star to get through level 10. And if you do get through level 10, in addition to some other things, they are giving 2 perfect fit legendary gear pieces. And what I mean by perfect fit, for those of you that don't have a lot of legendary gear, like regular gear, legendary gear has a subclass. If you match the subclass, the character that equips the gear, they get a 15% bonus to the gear's stats. Legendary gear also has a color. If you match the color to your character's color, you get an additional 10% boost. So a perfect fit legendary gear piece is one that you can equip to a character that has both the subclass and the color for a 25% boost to that gear's stats. That is, when you're getting legendary gear, whether it's through Alliance War or now it's in the campaign, or you're ranking well in events, you're always hoping for a perfect fit. Like I want to get it. I want to get the weapon slot, and I want to get it for my favorite character, and I hope it matches the subclass and the color. For them to be giving this to you in the Proving Grounds is a huge benefit. And the way to get to 4 star quickly is by having these focus summons, which is still available, and at least for the next character to come out, the Prince Consort, they claim it will be available. If you've got the gold saved up, I encourage you use it for a character you want or a character you need. But if you're on the fence, if you're not sure, and they also roll out a Proving Grounds, jackpot. Absolute jackpot. 2 free pieces of legendary gear that are a perfect fit for the character that you're trying to get to 4 or 5 star anyway. Overall, I think you can tell how excited I am from my tone in this video. I like Gregor Clegane. I like him a lot. He is an offensive green character. Can't wait to use him against Icy Viserion. Can't wait. Absolutely can't wait. Even though normally against dragons you want a single target attacker and he has an AoE attack, he does so much damage anyway. I think at the level I've got him, it's like 230% attack physical damage. That's better than a lot of single target attackers anyway. So, and attack is his preferred stat, his stronger stat. Really like that. Like his leadership ability. Feel like I can build a Lannister team now. Now, if I'm in Alliance War, I still think Blue Joffrey's leadership stat is better for both coin generation and gem destruction. So if I'm doing like a Lannister only team, then I'm probably not using Gregor as my leader. But now that we have Alliance War, and you've got to field 4 teams, well, Blue Joffrey is the centerpiece of my Baratheon team. So I'll build a Lannister team without Blue Joffrey, and therefore, yeah, Gregor Clegane probably going to be my leadership ability. Whenever somebody does wound, and multiple Lannisters do wound, he puts 2 coins directly in the treasury. Love it. When he's defeated, if you've got 6 or 7 coins, comes back. Also loses his helmet, gets ugly. But if you have the coins and or green tokens, or you're going to spend a little bit, and you can get, you're debating, should I get Greg? I don't know. He's good, I guess. I don't know if I really need him. If you can get him, and you can get him get him to 4-star while the Proving Grounds is there to get 2 free pieces of perfect fit legendary gear, my advice is go ahead. Do not second guess yourself. Don't worry. I had 35,000 gold. It's gone. It's gone. Now, I happened to split it between Gregor, a few green tokens as well, and Cersei. I wish I had 7,000 more so I can get the bonus shards for Cersei as well. But I don't regret it for a second. And they're not my primary team. I don't even need help in the Crown Lands. I like both of these characters. I really like Gregor Clegane. Comment below. Let me know what you think, and we will see you soon.